makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Nagelia de Ravin. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Female Founders. In today's episode, I have the pleasure of having a conversation with Liza Roeser. Liza is not only the driving force behind the success of FiftyFlowers, but she is also redefining the floral industry itself. As a visionary CEO, Liza combines her passion for creating beauty with a commitment to boosting confidence and helping nature. Good morning, Liza. Thank you so much for finally giving me the chance to have this conversation with you. And I'm very excited to learn more about your work and flowers. Oh my goodness, as a woman, we love flowers. Oh. So can you tell us about your background and how it inspired you to start 50 Flowers?
Oh, yes. Oh, first off, thank you so much for having me today. And I would love to talk about it. And you are correct. Flowers actually significantly reduce the stress in our world, as a study has proven to shown by the University of North Florida. A little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Texas. I am an A&M graduate, and I flew the cuckoo's nest right after graduation. I decided to join the Peace Corps and ventured out and was assigned to Ecuador to work in a small business helping local businesses better their marketing effort. And I just fell in love with the country and did not want to leave. And I happened to fall into flowers. And that's where my journey of this wonderful floral business has started. And I worked for several different farms, just becoming the expert in the floral industry. And one day woke up and said, it's time to create your own. And started with Farm Exports, which is a business to business, floral distributor. We were, the biggest claim to fame is we shipped flowers direct from the farm into Guam to wholesalers all across the world, Italian, Russian, into the United States. And the United States has proven to be our biggest market. But that very quickly, road mapped us to a 7-figure business within the first year. And that was in 1998. And I look back and think, wow, that was 25 years ago. And, 3-4 years into doing that and mastering just the export import business, I saw a niche that needed to be fulfilled. And that was serving the do-it-yourself couple getting married and allowing that couple to be able to have the choice of fresh flowers versus, not having them at all. Flowers are so important in our life. They're with us from cradle to grave, and they touch point all the emotion. And, back when the internet was not the internet, I jumped and started to program in Netscape. And oh gosh, you can do the Wayback Machine and look at how 50Flowers was born. And it was, a lot of sticky animation. It was beautiful. It was beautifully perfect at the time. And I brought, a designer with a programmer, and we started. And that's where 50Flowers was birthed. And we trailblazed, bringing flowers direct from the farm to the consumer's doorstep for their wedding.
So now let's say that I having a wedding. I don't need to go to there's no third party in the middle. It's just you and the farmer.
Now, is there a need? I think you have to go back and question, do you want to do your own wedding flower versus hiring a florist to do it? We do not want to discredit the role of a florist or a wedding planner, because not planner, but a wedding florist. They play a certain role. However, There are people that do not have the budget, or they want more of an experience of, the wedding party, to be able to jump in and help create the beauty of their wedding and the memories.
So pretty much what you're saying is that if you chose to do your own flowers for your own wedding, they can come to you and you ship them the flowers and then they can do it, or they can do the whole setup by themselves and things like that.
Yes. So basically, you're getting married and you're on a tight budget and flowers are important to you. You come to our website and we help you create your wedding flower come true. And what does that mean? That means you can sign up for a consultation, and one of our experts will guide you through and will pick off of your Pinterest board what is it that you're looking to create. We'll help you choose the different flowers. We'll give you a recipe sheet. You order your flowers, they get delivered, and you design and put them together.
And they can, does that mean that they follow some sort of sheet that you give them to put the design together, or they just have to create their own creativity on their own?
Well, we have 3 different levels of DIY. We have, DIY 1, which is it's done for you. Down in our
Okay.
design center in Bogota, Colombia, we put together a beautiful bouquet with boutonnieres and corsages for you and your bridesmaids, your wedding party to carry down, or table centerpieces that you just plop and drop and they're ready to go. They come
Done.
wrapped with pins. It's 100% curated exactly for you. So we have in our level 2 are their curated kits that come all together halfway done for you. So they're going to be a recipe that have a blend of focal filler, line, and greenery flowers that you're able to just create your wedding flowers according to your own style. And within those kits, we have, half done, table centerpieces that when I say half done, they still need a little bit of you doing it yourself.
A little bit of your own touch.
Your own touch. You personalize every single one of these arrangements to where you get to wrap your curated, the ribbon that matches exactly to your bride's dresses or the color of your theme that you're doing for your wedding. You've chosen for your wedding. And then level 3 is, we call this our DIY renegades. And basically, you can shop our wholesale catalog, flower catalog, which is extensive. We have over 3,000 flowers that
Wow.
that we work with farmers all around the world. In fact, still talking with team members who've been on our team for a couple of years. They're like, wait, we have a farm in New Zealand? I'm like, yeah, we get flowers from New Zealand and we deliver them direct from the field, direct from those farms to your arm.
This is
So,
a big partnership. Go ahead.
yeah, no, it's a huge partnership and it's a huge movement in a sense of, connection. We are intentionally connecting our farmers with our brides and grooms throughout the world.
Well, this is amazing. But also you have the option, people can just go onto your website and buy flowers, right? It doesn't need to be for a wedding. It can be for a romantic moment, for the mom, for a funeral or anything like that.
A big trend that we're seeing now are bouquet bars. So you're throwing your wedding shower or you're having just a dinner party at your house, or you want to get the girls together for a book night and you want to have something fun to do a bouquet bar where
Okay,
when you
well,
walk in the door, you have it all set up. You have your focal, your filler, your line, your greenery flowers, and everyone gets to curate and handcraft their own flower bouquet and then take it home with them. It's, one of my virtues is create more joy. And it is brought directly into this mini flower empire that we're creating of you're constantly creating more joy by sprinkling flowers across the world.
but now, how does that work? I know you work with many farmers from all over the world. So,
Mhm.
is that mean like when someone goes to your website, they make a purchase, and if the farmer get that purchase and then they ship out the flower, is that how it works? Or the flower come to you and then you ship it?
Oh no, we ship directly from the farms to your doorstep. And basically how it works is as soon as you place an order, our farm, which has been curated, I mean, it's been matched up with that particular order. They get their order and they tag the flowers going, this is going to, you know, Boise, Idaho for, Juliana Castillo, who's one of our employees, but it's going directly to her. And they ship it in a consolidation that goes from, let's just say we're starting in Quito, Ecuador, where FiftyFlowers is based, and we have an office of about 35 employees there. Then that box leaves the farm directly to the overnight shipper, and it then is delivered to you priority overnight, international priority night overnight to your doorstep.
So is that mean also that it's much depending on where you're located? Let's say, for example, if I was in Germany and there's farms in Germany, that's mean that I would be matched with a farm in Germany, right?
Well, unfortunately, we have not expanded to Europe yet. And we only work with the United States and Puerto Rico. And to date, it comes from the actual flower itself. So if you're going to order a red rose, we have our priority farms that we've worked with. And we have certain, what I would say, reserved flowers for us. We would send it down to, that particular farm, and then it would get delivered to you. Now, in the event that you're in California and we have a rose farm in California, would we ship it to the rose farm? It's very dependent upon a lot of different, factors. And for example, unfortunately, all of our stateside farms, especially in California, they're getting replaced with cannabis. So we're seeing a lot of our grown in the United States drop off. And secondly, if they are grown in the United States, we have seasons, unlike in South America. So we can't match you 12 months out of the year from a California.
I see how it works now. So when we're talking about, I don't want to get too much into the cannabis business because that's not something you do. But when you say that it's been, they are being replaced with that, in what way do you see that replacement happening?
Well, it all comes down to money and how much money you make. And growing flowers, you get $1, and growing cannabis, you get 10. So these farms, it's an easy switch over to lease out their land versus growing flowers. Cultivating flowers and looking at the flowers that are on your dinner table. Okay. Over and over and over again, I consistently hear flowers are so expensive. I can't afford them. Well, that's a whole different thing if you can't afford them, because we've proven that it definitely reduces your stress. More than that, what the act of miracle that it takes to get that rose from the farm to your dinner table is, first off, it's my book I'm writing here soon. Second off, it's a miracle, and they should cost more. When you hear about the laboratory to the planes, the trains, the automobiles, to the amount of people that touch that flower and touch like the miracles it takes to get that flower to bloom for your dinner table, you would be happy paying more.
Oh. And I think also, even when you said that flowers touch lives in many different ways, I agree with you on that. Even myself, when, for example, if I'm going food shopping, like Whole Food, and I will pick up a bouquet of flowers on my own. And I always say to myself, you don't need to wait for someone to send you one. You can just buy it for yourself,
I
because
agree.
just smelling it and looking at it around, when you wake up in the morning, you see that bouquet of flowers and you smell it, it just creates such a beautiful moment between you and that flower right there. And it
Yes.
just
Okay.
feels love.
So let's go back to when you see a flower, what is the first thing that you do?
Smell it.
Exactly. Because it incorporates all of our dimensions, all of our senses. And it tickles and and when you go in to smell a flower, and in fact, I challenge everybody, start to look at when you give somebody flowers or you walk into a grocery store. Why do you think they have flowers right there? Because it gives you the sense of happiness. Look at people's faces when they look at a flower. It just provokes emotion.
Lisa, another thing also I wanted to add on is the fact that a lot of people think flowers it's for women. And that's one thing, even me, I don't have a daughter, I have a son. So I
Mhm.
always taught my son that you don't need to be a woman to love flowers. And you don't need to
Mm-mm,
be any other gender in the world to love flowers.
mm-mm.
It
No.
just it's something beautiful.
Yeah,
Even if you have it in your home, you give it to someone, it's just something beautiful that just bring a little bit of peace into your life. That moment that you wanted to hang up that phone on that client and you look at that flower like, oh, that's so beautiful. Uh-huh, yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm, ma'am. Uh-huh, ma'am. Have a good day. So that changed your tone completely in a whole different level, because that only just create the peace for you in general.
exactly. And it does. I mean, flowers, and they've scientifically proven this. There are study after study after study. I sat on the Society of American Florists board for a couple of years, and we continuously are studying and understanding the emotions, the emotional tickleness that you get
Yeah.
when you see a flower. And are they gender specific? They shouldn't be. No. I mean, it is the human being, just we enjoy the flower eye candy and the scent, and it's we need to consume more for sure. And we are.
But do you have any plan to go in any other countries but United States?
So, absolutely, we do have plans. However, I am a true believer in Jim Collins' Good to Great, the hedgehog concept of we are first going to focus on our wedding market here in the United States, and then we will move forward.
So in another word, you're going to take care of your backyard before you go taking care of somebody else's backyard.
Yes, absolutely. Back and front yard.
But you also mentioned that you're writing a book. What's the book going to be about?
Oh, it's farm to arms. It's how flowers, the migration of flowers from start to finish, should I say.
But you work with farmers. Do you
Mhm.
also help farmers understand and how to grow the flowers and I mean, like, to make the farms better?
Oh,
I mean,
no.
like, because you don't help with that part.
When I first got into this industry, I worked at a farm in Cayambe, Ecuador, and I get up every morning at 6 a.m. and drive to work. And I worked, I'm a workaholic. I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. And more than that, it's just to help and make, you know, hard things can be hard until they're, and I spend a lot of time understanding cultivating flowers. I walked the farms with our breeders. I understood the way that we find the flower varieties that we grow. I also went into understanding drip irrigation and pH soil, greenhouse, the difference of the plastics and the light in the plastic. Then I got very technical. And
Wow.
do I understand how it all works? Yeah. Can you be an expert in everything? No. And what I know that I do best at is bringing the flowers direct from the farm to your doorstep. and helping you understand how to put the flowers together, helping to make sure that the flowers get from the farm to your doorstep. It is not easy. In fact, for years, you know, I was in the flower industry, but I realized I really am an e-commerce platform that sells flowers. And we have our expertise, we have our niche. You know, operationally, we deliver a lot of flowers and we make sure that the flowers get delivered. In fact, and that's hard within itself. You know, when I go to my customer journey and I break down my customer journey to really get nitty-gritty into some operation, you know, I first have to develop a product that no matter what happens, you're going to get it because your wedding day is that important to
Yes.
us. You know, my flowers don't come from one farm. You know, if I have a product on the website and there happens to be a volcanic eruption in Ecuador, I can pull that product from 3 other different places because I want to make sure that if we say, you know, if you trust 50 Flowers with your order, we're going to come through with you.
We're going to
And
make sure it's done.
oh, and it's done and it's done right. You know, there's a reason why Newsweek has given us best of customer service 3 years in a row because we're always answering our phones. And it doesn't matter who you are, we're going to help make it right for you.
And I think that's the most important part is when you talk about weddings and imagine that you have your wedding day coming up and the flowers didn't show up on time.
Oh,
That can be the worst case.
it's going to be the worst case. And it happens. You know, it happens because things do happen. You know, who's going to guarantee you that your baker is not going to get in a wreck on the way to your venue
True.
with there? The most important part and what I carry near and dear to my heart is we make it right. You know, because we've been doing this for 20 plus years and we've delivered flowers to over 1 million flowers, you know, 1 million events, we make sure that you get flowers one way or the other.
But you know, you've been in this, like you said, for 25 years. That's a very long time. How do you stay in the market? Because that's a tough market to stay on.
It's really hard to stay in. It's a really good question. I don't know. How do we? You know, I have to say we have a lot of pop up, you know, a lot of, you know, competitors that come in. And it's easy to create a website. It's easy to deliver flowers. It's hard though, because it's perishable and, you know, it's cyclical. And without having all of that granular tribal knowledge that we have, it's it's going to be hard to deliver on a promise. You know, flowers don't sit in a warehouse and you pull SKUs and you have, you know, first in, first out accounting. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's not the way it is. It's, you know, it is tricky as ever can be. And, you know, our website, is it the most flashy with all the bells and whistles? Do we tell our story the best? No, because we haven't focused on it. We focused on making sure that every single one of
Right.
the experiences that you have are over the top and that you were 100% satisfied. And
Clients
just
come
now,
first.
excuse me,
No, I was
I
going to
lost
say
you.
clients come first. You focus on the clients.
Clients come first. And now we're getting into the nitty gritty of, you know, the user interface, retelling our story because it has been 20 years. And it gets challenging to tell the story over and over again.
Yeah, but I think that your passion for flowers, I don't know what words to use for that. It's
It fuels us.
yes.
Not to put words in
Yes.
your, not to put words in, but the flower industry within itself is a hard industry. You know, I'm prepping for a conversation to educate our floral industry on an operating system that I'm using. And is it, you know, am I standing up in front of my competitors and going, hey, This is a platform that I'm using that's really helping me focus and become better at what we're doing. Yeah, I am. Am I sharing some of my secret sauce with my competitors?
You are.
Absolutely. You know why? Because in this world, there's enough business for us all to go at. We don't have to look at it as you're my competitor and I can't share with you. In fact,
Mhm.
I have a monthly phone call with my number one competitor. And yeah, I do. And I love her to death. And guess what? She started her business by buying her wedding flowers from my company. And she fell in love with it so much, she put in her own business and now is my biggest competitor. And I would call her, she is one of my besties, business besties.
But you know what you're saying that kind of remind me when you driving down the street and then you see a Walgreens and the other side you see the CVS and you
Mhm.
go down you find a McDonald's and next to the McDonald's you find the Burger King. So
Yeah.
like seriously they're selling the same thing, really.
Yeah. And they're different markets. I love to think about the Home Depot Lowe's. That's a really
Hmm.
great competitor, and that actually came from a divorce, from what I heard. I haven't proved that. And, Home Depot is more towards the granular bulk, where Lowe's is a little bit more upscale. And you
Hmm.
see them right next to each other,
Yeah.
for
Not
sure.
far from one another.
Not far from one another.
But now with go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now I was going to say with all the work that you are doing, you travel as well. Do you
Mhm.
also put time aside to go to the farms and visit them
Oh,
and
yeah.
know who
Absolutely.
you?
Absolutely. My farmer relationships are 27 years deep, I would say. I try to break bread at least once in a lifetime with my farmers, if not once a year. We have floral shows that we connect with. We also, I do Zoom calls, I get WhatsApp. In fact, last week, one of my dearest favorite farmers in the whole wide world. And why is he my favorite? Because he is exploding. He's taken over his family's business and really expanded. And one of the first farmers to digest what the client's needs are. Like, we don't want another rose. What we want is, a hybrid, fancy, unique product. And he's really diving into it. And last week, they all have their connection. We all have our connection, and we'll randomly just, he's like, I want you to see my new freesias. I'm like, you're kidding me. We have freesias in South America. Throw them at me. And yesterday, not only did I get a box of freesias, but I got a box of like 10 different other products that he's trying out. And, do we have the time to sit down and plan together? No. But what we do have is that, the strong foundation to where he knows he can pick up the phone or send me a WhatsApp going, I'm sending you samples. Are you in Boise? I'm sending you samples. Will you look at these and tell me what you think? And, I get them and it's all communication, electronically, which 25 years ago we didn't have.
Ah,
And today it's so easy. This big, huge world, this international world that we have has really become very small.
so now you are a mom,
I am a mom.
75 employees,
Hmm.
and thinking of adding more, writing your
Hmm.
books. You do speaking engagement. You travel a lot.
Hmm.
You spend some time with your farmers.
Yes.
You're a very busy woman. So how do you find time for you?
I schedule my time for me. And if I don't schedule out, then I don't find time for me. And I put me first, which sounds so counterintuitive. How dare me put me in front of my family? How dare I put me in front of my business? And I go back to, I have to put the oxygen mask on me first,
Yes.
or no one gets oxygen. And the number two that I would say that's very important about this is grace. Is I have to give myself a lot of grace. Yesterday morning, I had it scheduled in to do my hot yoga. And I woke up and I just didn't feel like doing it. And you know what? That's okay. Because I listened to the story that I'm telling myself of it's okay. Schedule it in, and 9 out of 10 times you'll get it done.
And I think that's one of the best ways. Sometimes as women we take care of the world and we forgot we exist. And how can you help anyone if you are unable to even if you don't even have your health together?
Exactly.
You can't do anything really. If you die and you can't help anyone. So the only way to help anyone is to make sure you stay healthy. And to stay healthy is by taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. And, I think the second part of it too, about just, how do you do it all, is have the humility to ask for help when you least think you need it. Ask for help.
Ask for help. Whew, that's a big one.
It is.
So now, what advice would you have for someone that's getting the wedding, planning the wedding on their own, on the flowers level? What advice would you have for them?
For flowers, oh, gracious, really sit down and think about flowers. Where have flowers been represented in your life today? I go back and I remember my very first floral arrangement that I got. I had just gotten my tonsils out, and it was my freshman year in college, and I got a huge, beautiful bouquet of white Virginia roses. And I remember that because I am the flower CEO and I know a lot about flowers. But I go back to that moment and that feeling that it cultivated inside of me, and touch with that and let that inspire you to choose your wedding flowers. Secondly, it's when you are married and, it's a rough patch, you're going to have that picture that's sitting right by your front door when you walk in. And you look at that picture and you look down at you and your spouse, and one of you are going to be holding flowers, and those flowers you're going to reflect back on. And you're going to want to make sure that they're so beautiful that you fall in love. And keep those two emotions guiding you as you go through choosing your flower. Of course, I'm going to say spend more and do more with flowers because it is the decoration. And you would think that that motive is coming because I want you to buy my flowers. That's not it. What it really is that this is a moment that you're going to capture and you're going to carry with you throughout your life.
And not only that, you want to impress the people that's coming in. That's the first thing they see.
Oh, it's
the flowers.
And it's eye candy. I mean, flowers make your wedding.
Yes.
And I can go back to my wedding and let's talk about my practice marriage, I like to call it. And all of my farmers shipped about 20,000 roses to my designer. I met with my designer, and this is a true life story. I don't think I've ever told this story either. I met with him for 30 minutes. And I said, I'm not going to try to micromanage you because there's a lot going on when you're planning a wedding. I'm going to let you create the vision. I have several ideas that I'd like to do. I'll tell you, and then you run with it from there. The day of came, and actually in between then and there, a bunch of other flowers came in. So I had all different types of flowers, and I wanted baby's breath balls hanging. I got married in Dallas underneath the tree.
Ooh.
And it was hot and muggy and everything you can think of. And I just wanted to make it beautiful. And the day came and I got my flower bouquet, and it was beautiful. It was completely beautiful. However, there were two things that I didn't like about it. Number one, it had a particular flower in it that had a scent that drove me crazy. And number two, we didn't talk ribbon. And he was so overwhelmed, it didn't get wrapped. So every time I look at those pictures, I say, oops, you know what? Didn't get finished. Everything else was beautiful and gorgeous. I mean, the backdrop, the balls, the gardens, there were so many flowers. In fact, I don't even think he used all the flowers that were shipped to him. But going back to that and saying, that's how important your flowers are. They're so important. They're going to make or break your wedding.
So now how can someone reach out to 50Flowers? The process is going to your website and then
our
place the
website.
order.
We have chat. We have, socials. Follow us on social. We're having so much fun on social. We're reinventing ourselves. And, we're finally bringing back all the fun we have in our studio. We're constantly trying flowers out and trying to speak out and speak with you, engage with you, and give you ideas. So go to the website, chat with us, call in. We've got an incredible team of floral experts that are so passionate about flowers. We have a couple people on our team that for 12, 14 years, they've been working with brides and helping couples all along. That's a long time. It's a long time. And they love what they do. And, as their boss, I look at them and say, do you want to move into something? No. I love our clients. And, I adore each and every one of our floral experts.
Well, that's why you keep winning #1 in customer service.
They love what they do. And, it's really cute. In one of our text messages, we say, and a real human will answer. Because a lot of people have replaced, using AI or using bots or using, a different technique. No, we will not. Your flowers and your experience with us is that important. We put that as our #1 importance.
That's what you do.
What you do,
So anything else you'd like to share with us before I let you go?
I would just say, yeah, I do want to share one thing. I love the message at last of just believe. When I go back and I think of what, a little girl from Texas and a spark that I had in life. And the only thing I had was my belief that I can do all things through Christ and that belief that all I have to do is try and give it my 110%. And the worst thing that can happen is you can fail. Yes. And when you fail forward, everything that we've done has not been successful. However, we've learned. So there is the success that we were expecting was a different type of success. So if I have any words of wisdom to plant out there is believe that you can create the most amazing wedding flowers or wedding experience for all of your guests. Believe that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can do it. Just start. What's stopping you?
The worst that can happen, you fail. But again, failures is just something you learn from. It's actually the best education in the world. You get to learn from it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Liza, for giving me the chance to to have this conversation with you. I appreciate it, and I got to finally meet you and then to understand everything about 50Flowers. And it's amazing when I was like, I'm going to talk to her. Cool.
No, that's what, I'm a little girl from Texas that I just happen to be scary at times to some people, but I'm not. It's just I'm as relatable and humble as anybody else. There are times where I stop and go, oh, that's why people are afraid of me. You shouldn't be afraid. Ask, go, do it.
I'm not afraid of you.
Intimidated is the word. Intimidated.
I guess, yeah.
I forget how, the book can look intimidating.
It can, but at the end of the day, the way I looked at it is one woman being successful in something, meaning that other women can also be successful because that woman is opening the door for you. All you have to do is follow.
All you have to do is follow. All you have to do is ask and believe in yourself. It goes back to believing you can do it. Very true.
Believe you can do it. Thank you so much, Liza. I appreciate talking to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on womel.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.